Hi, Whitney here. Welcome to the one word you need to say to avoid burnout. If you're like most women, you're probably used to doing everything you're asked to do and doing it well. But each time you add a new commitment or responsibility to your plate, you're adding stress into your life. And too much stress can lead to burnout. The problem we experience is that we are not able to say no to others. This could be because we don't want to be disliked, or we feel guilt, or we feel like we should be helping others, or we just don't value ourselves and our own time. Is it challenging for you to say no to other people? Comment below. Let me know. And remember, you're not alone. This is a common issue for most women I know. When you say yes, when you really mean no, what's usually going on beneath the surface for you? Is it to please others? Is it guilt? Go ahead and share in the comments below. I know it's vulnerable to speak to this, and yet the best way to acknowledge and to begin to change it is to acknowledge it, and also to realize you're so not alone. You're not the only one saying yes when what you really mean is no. I know for me, I wouldn't say no because I wanted to be liked. I remember back when I was new to my community. I had already been voted onto a couple of boards and was chairing a couple of committees. Well, apparently, the other board members saw an opportunity to recruit me to committees for their own organizations. I hadn't yet learned how to say no, and I wanted to be liked. So pretty soon, I had active roles on more than a dozen committees. That was when I realized my dilemma. I had my own business, which gave me flexibility, but no time left for myself. I was getting up early for board and committee meetings and staying up late to work on committee obligations. I was exhausted. I'll never forget, one morning, I was so tired. I grabbed a bottle of what I thought were eye drops to put in my eyes. But oh my God, it wasn't my eye drops, and it burned. Oof. And this woke me up to the reality that I had overcommitted myself. And I was no longer willing to keep saying yes to everyone else. I mean, I almost blinded myself with this small mistake. Thankfully, after a trip to the doctor's office, I was okay. But from that moment on, things changed. I reached out to have conversations with those I'd said yes to and changed our agreements. It was hard. It was challenging to say no after saying yes. But I realized it was the only way to say yes to myself in this case. My first priority had to be to myself. It's like the oxygen mask on the airplane. I'm not any good to the kids sitting next to me if I don't put on my oxygen mask first. I learned so much from that experience. I discovered how important it was to say no when I needed to say no, and to only say yes when I really meant yes, so that I could be in integrity with other people and myself, rather than being depleted and resentful. I made it my mission to learn how to say no and yes with discernment, without people-pleasing. And now that I'm a self-care expert, this is part of my work with women. I help them say no, and I support them in avoiding burnout by leaning into my own experience and the extensive research and training done for my master's degree in metaphysics and on the path toward my PhD. Whatever the reason we say yes instead of no, the impact of not being able to say no to others is that we end up saying no to ourselves. This is important. We aren't able to say no to others. We end up saying no to ourselves. In essence, we aren't valuing our own time. And when we don't value our time, we end up not having the time to take care of ourselves or to create the life we desire. Because how can we create what we desire if we're always saying yes to other people and we're not saying yes to what's really important to us? And because of this, we end up being resentful, annoyed, and frustrated with ourselves for not saying no to begin with. We also end up depleted, drained, and on the path to burnout. How do you usually feel after you said yes when you really wanted to say no? Let me know in the comments below. In order to avoid burnout, we must learn how to say no to others and yes to ourselves. Most people think that by saying no to a request for their time, they are pushing that other person away. However, that is not the case. When we say no to a request for our time, we are not going away from that other person. We are going towards ourselves, and we are avoiding burnout. This is saying no with love. Love for ourselves and love for the other person, instead of the resentment we may end up feeling eventually if we had said yes. So again, even though we're saying no to someone else, it's a yes to ourselves. It's also a yes to honoring the relationship and the intimacy, the honesty, the truth. When we say yes but really mean no, we may think that we're actually preserving the relationship, but we're just building another wall, a place where we're not being authentic and true to ourselves or others. One thing to remember, when you say no, an explanation is not required, nor necessary. When you give an explanation, it usually ends up sounding like an excuse anyway. Also, no apologies are necessary. Be strong and confident when you say no. Be empowered. If you want to know how to say an empowered no with love, try this. I would really like to support you with this. However, right now, I'm not able to. I invite you to write this down and practice saying it. I'll repeat it. I would really like to support you with this. However, right now, I'm not able to. Being able to say an empowered no is key to avoiding burnout. So if you really struggle with saying no and prioritizing yourself, I invite you to schedule a conversation with me. So together we can explore how to get you the support you need to start taking care of yourself while still honoring your relationships. In this 45-minute break-free from burnout consultation, you'll create a clear and compelling vision for the burnout-free life you desire. You'll get simple and practical tips for avoiding or breaking free from burnout. You'll tap into greater energy and inspiration. And you'll explore what it looks like to get my support moving forward. If you're like I was and struggling with saying the word no, this is for you. I invite you to private message me to schedule your free Break Free from Burnout consultation. I really look forward to hearing from you and supporting you. Thank you for joining me today. If you received value from this Facebook Live, and if you know other women who struggle with saying no, please share this with them. I'm on a mission to reach as many women as possible. This is my last Facebook Live this month. Stay tuned, and until next time, see what else is possible by saying no when you mean no, and yes when you mean yes. Have a beautiful day.